Okay, so today we'll do the usual warm-up exercises. I really believe that the warm-up exercises, no matter how sort of compromised or tired you are, it's great to just try and do a little bit of the warm-up exercises, just to try and generate a movement of chi in the body. I think it's quite an important part of this. And so I always say, do the warm-up exercises if you can. If you absolutely can't do them, there's no problem with that. You could, and as I wanted to point out, you could also, if you find a stool or something like that, you could also do these warm-up exercises sitting down. It's not very difficult. It's difficult with a chair, obviously, to do the turning exercise, but a stool would work perfectly well for you to be able to do these warm-up exercises. So you could also do them standing as well as sitting. And when you do the forward bend, you're just going down and coming up, and it still stretches your back out. And the last resort for all of that is that you might also consider the possibility that if you're absolutely compromised, as it were, you might just lie down, but still think about the possibility, or sit down, of course, and think about the possibility. Just imagine your body can turn and move. Perhaps it's a time to bring out that usual story I bring out about the experiment they did, where they said to people, they had 3 groups of people, one control group where they said, you're just in the control group and do nothing at all. The second group, they said, go to the gym and lift a dumbbell with your right arm 20 times, or get a dumbbell at home with your right arm 20 times, morning, noon, and night. And then the last group, they said to them, sit on your sofa and imagine lifting a dumbbell. The strain, and imagine doing it. And there was virtually no difference at all between the people who actually went to the gym and the people who were imagining going to the gym. So that is the power of our mind to create change in our body. And so the same is true for our healing. If you want to do the warm-up exercises, you can't do them, and you're feeling compromised, imagine you can do them perfectly. And that's another thing as well, is that when we talk about imagination, we're talking about imagining that our body can do all of these exercises, but we're also talking about imagining our body as perfect and healed. So what does that look like to you personally? Because obviously I can't generate that image for you, as it were. And sometimes, people have said to me in the past, I like to think of myself when I was, 13 and I was in perfect condition and I was running and doing sports and everything is healthy. And then other people say to me, oh God, 13, what a terrible time in my life that was. I couldn't think about that again. It would make me feel terrible. So it's a question of circumstance, isn't it? About, what's likely to suit you better. And then other people say to me, I can't really think about myself in terms of that, because we have very, very different kind of, visual memories. If I say in medical Qigong, for instance, I say to people, imagine your liver, it glows a beautiful spring green color. And people sort of look at me and go, what? How do I imagine that? Some people can't think in color. Some people can't think in terms of what an internal organ might look like. So we're all different. We all have different ways of visualizing things. And so if I say to you, think about a time when your body was absolutely fantastic. Sometimes people just sort of look at me and say, I can't do that. Then I'd say something along the lines of, think of a person who you really admire, who you suspect's body is in fantastic shape, like a footballer or a gymnast or something like that. Think that you could be in the same shape as them. And that sort of projects your mind in that direction towards healing as well. A movie star, perhaps, someone who you are very familiar with, you see on a regular basis, and you can associate with that person and think, right, okay, I would like myself to be, we're not talking about beauty here, we're talking about sort of, wellness. And the other aspect of that would be that, when I very first started, I realized that I didn't have a great visual memory when I first started medical Qigong. And I almost had to think of myself in terms of almost like me as a cartoon or as a stick man, somewhere out there on a piece of paper, and sort of, imagine a cartoon version of me, with a glowing green liver or a bright yellow spleen. And I had to sort of do it like that because I couldn't really sort of, bring it. And it took a while for me to realize that I could actually educate my inner vision and bring my inner vision into a place where I could then sort of understand my body better. So don't feel frustrated about these ideas of visualize, just fine, it just takes time. Everybody can do it eventually. So if you just, and as they say, practice makes perfect. Clearly with Qigong, that is the case, practice makes perfect. But also with your mind, practice makes perfect. Okay, so we're just going to start our warm-up exercises, and I'm just going to talk a little bit more about that. So the idea of practice makes perfect. So, well, when you work with my teacher, Lou, he constantly talks a lot about the ego, and he talks about modern life as being the vortex. I think it's such a nice idea, the vortex. Vortex we sort of think of in terms of sort of whirlpools and things like that, of water spinning around at high speed, or energy spinning around at high speed in a kind of like, descending kind of, I don't know, being pulled down to the bottom of the vortex. Vortex is not a particularly nice idea, I don't think. It's a pretty chaotic thing. And so he talks about modern life like that. And you think, well, I suppose if we analyze it, that's probably what modern life is a bit like. It's got this kind of crazy whirling, continuous consuming attitude, like a whirlwind, sucking everything into the center and kind of like, spinning it around at high speed. So yeah, we live in the vortex. We've all heard about ego. It's normally used as a way to insult people. But the reason that people sort of say he's got such a huge ego is generally because people do. It's an observation we make and we think, yeah, that person's definitely got a huge ego. And it's not always an insult. Sometimes we admire some people's, huge ego to become, I don't know, prime ministers, or, well, it's very rare we admire them, but you know what I mean. You get the general idea. To get to the top of a business empire, to get to the top of a broadcasting empire, whatever it might be. Sometimes we admire those people. But ego is essentially the kind of sense of self, isn't it? The stories we tell ourselves. And so you've often heard me talk about the various different delineations within that. We often talk about second-hand self. And second-hand self is all the things that have been given to you, that have been passed down to you. And so very often people talk about, oh yes, I used to get my sister's clothes, my brother's shoes, and all this sort of stuff passed down to me. Well, it's exactly that, but you also get their attitudes passed down to you. Your mother and father's attitudes, your religion's attitudes, your government's attitudes, the prevailing attitudes of society, all handed down, piled on top of you. It's like little naked you as a baby, and then somebody drops a clothes basket of stuff on top of you, buries you in all these things. And so that's all the sort of second-hand self. But we're also very good at, like magpies, we pick up things along the way that are shiny and sparkly that we like the look of, but they're not always good things for us. Oh goodness, that smoking looks exciting. Gosh, that drinking, that looks fun. We sort of pick up all these things along the way. Bad relationships, bad jobs. And they all look good and they all look like the realistic thing. But unfortunately, we tend to crash through life. And so we tend to just sort of, react to things rather than planning things. We tend to grab things as they come by, as opposed to asking if they're, the right things for us. And sometimes, we get knocked back, and that gives us feelings about ourselves as well. Oh, why didn't that happen? Why didn't I get that? Why wasn't I able to do this? And that sets up a whole set of patterns inside us as well. I remember a lovely quote. I can't remember who it was from, unfortunately, but she said, when a door opens, step through it. Said, but just be aware that not all of the doors open. Some of them are locked. Don't worry, if that one doesn't open, there'll be another door shortly. And it's kind of like, not every door is meant for you. Not every opportunity should just be stepped through blindly. It's about listening to your inner self, isn't it? So we have our self-image, is what that whole set of sections is called. Second-hand self, things we've been given. Self-image, things we take and apply to ourselves. Oh God, I'm totally unlovable. Nobody will ever love me. Oh, I can never get a partner. Nobody loves me. All these sort of things that go round inside. That's not really true. It might have been an insult someone said to you a long time ago, but now you're starting to believe it. So we have self-image and secondhand self, and then it's all kind of contained in the wrapper of the ego. The ego is our kind of defense system. So when someone comes along and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" and you immediately sort of, you shout, you have a reaction, or what political party do why do you support that political party? And off you go. And all these sort of things, all these ideas that we've gathered over the years, they need defending for some reason. For some reason, we feel that we have to hold on to these things that have been given to us as tight as we possibly can. And then when someone questions them, we have to fight about it to stop them being questioned. Because of loss of face and things like that. Goodness me, that not new word, it's been around for quite a while, but respect. I lost my respect, or people don't disrespect me. Oh God, I hate that. Have you earned respect from the first place? Why do you believe you should be respected? And it's just about judgment in the end, isn't it? I don't like people judging me. Well, the only reason you wouldn't like people judging you is because you've got a whole load of things which are not really defensible. And when people ask you questions or judge you on them, you feel you have to defend them. And then you find yourself defending things that you actually don't believe in anymore. And you think, God, in that story, I've been hanging on to that for a long old time. Why do I bother? Why am I still defending it? But defend it you do. So this is the vortex of life, spinning round at high speed. And I guess what we're talking about is how to realize and recognize that. So we're using our NuN meditation today to try and call ourselves into a kind of true self state. So that's only part of the story, because when we get to our true self state, that's a very good place to be for kind of self-healing and so forth. It's going to let your body relax, let your mind quiet, and bring you very much into the center of yourself. Bring you very much back to your base state. From my analogy, that little naked baby, no longer piled with clothes and stories on top. So it's about getting yourself back to that basic foundation of you. And when we get to that, sometimes I don't want to lead you in any way, but there are sort of experiences you can find. The more often you're able to bring yourself to that true self state, the more often you'll find experiences. The more often, okay, so I will just, it's called leading the witness, isn't it, in the court case? I will just lead you and tell you one example of standing in my true self state up in Sammy Ling on retreat. Just a very quiet night, and my body had finally settled into the posture and my mind had quietened down. And then, without warning, I found myself, the floor below me opened. It was a very visual experience. Below me, the floor opened, and then the whole of reality peeled away. I had my eyes shut, of course, this was all visual, internal. The whole of kind of reality peeled away, and I was just standing like a planet in the middle of the universe. And I suddenly heard this rushing noise, almost like someone had opened a train window, and there was this kind of rushing noise all around me. Now, if I'm honest, I don't think there is a kind of rushing noise in space. I think it's a void, and I think it's all quite silence. But interestingly, there was this special effect that went along with it. And there I was in the enormity of the universe, just completely at one with everything, feeling utterly blissed out, feeling totally, I can't describe it better than at one. And so I gazed in awe and wonder out into the universe, and the room that I'd been in had totally gone. And there was just this vastness with galaxies and planets. And it was just utterly epic, extraordinary, wonderful. And for a little while, I just sort of dwelt there and thought, this is utterly extraordinary. And I was able to essentially feel the Yi Yuan Ti of everything, and realize that I was Yi Yuan Ti, that I was everything, and everything was me. And then after a few minutes, who knows how long, because time just disappeared entirely, suddenly my ego piped up and it said, what happens if we fall out into the universe? And I had a sudden fear moment of that enormity. And then, of course, the experience just kind of disappeared. And there I was back in the room with everybody else. Nothing had changed, standing quietly. And so I have to say that the more I practice true self state, the more I'm able to experience that occurrence. It's not that occurrence, but that kind of place, that kind of bliss feeling. And so I would like to think that if you come to that place more and more often, you too would be able to find your oneness with the universe. What's the point about that? Well, I'd say the point is that when you understand that you are at one with the entirety of the universe, then you start to realize that this illusion that we live in is just a game that consciousness plays. And how would consciousness ever develop itself if it didn't run its own games to see what could happen next? So we set Jeremy off and we make him adopted and see how he runs through life. And then we set, Jane off and we give her cancer, and we set John off and we give him lung disease, and we set Joe off and we give him $1 billion, and we set, and on it goes. And consciousness sets off these thousands of streams, 8 billion streams of games running through the world to see what can be discovered, to see what can be found out. It's like an experiment, and you're an experiment for consciousness. Okay, let's have a few long stretches. Yeah, so then you find that you understand from your true self perspective that this is just a game. But then if you understand that it's a game, you can change the rules. You don't have to be sick anymore. You don't have to be ill. You don't have to be a person who's sad, poor, unhappy, because now you realize it for what it really is. It's just a simulation. Well, come on then, change it. Stop being ill. I know that's very easy to say, isn't it? Very trite, because that's sort of seems like the most difficult thing in the whole world. But the truth of the matter is that from the true self perspective, that is no longer the case. From the true self perspective, one can create everything. But the catch, and there's always a catch, is can you trust that this is true? Can you find yourself in that state frequently? So if you can trust it's true, and if you can bring yourself to that state frequently, then you'll see that it is true. And don't get me wrong, I'm lazy, I don't work as hard as I should do. I've got family and things to do. And so I don't find myself doing it too often. And I know that in my future there will be much more. And at the moment, I don't really feel I need a huge, my journey is just gently, step by step, as is yours. And so I'm gently stepping along that path. Every day I try and get a bit closer. Every day the experience becomes a little more real. Every day I find that I don't have to identify with my problems anymore. I don't have to identify with the issues around me. I don't have to worry about wars and famine, and I just drift gently through life knowing that everything is right. Okay, so let everything slow down, slowly, gently come to a stop. Gather chi, pour chi. So I think that the thing to say about that is that the Eng meditation that we did 2 or 3 weeks ago, the NuN meditation that we're going to do today, what else is there? The just standing meditation, the La Chi, all of these things are just tools to quieten and center and bring on this experience of oneness. So the question is, what tool works best for you? And so I found that I really was drawn towards the Eng meditation and less toward the NuN meditation. But you might find that the NuN meditation is exactly it and has suddenly kind of switched it on for you. And then you might find that none of them work and that actually what you like to do is just to stand quietly. You might find that sitting is much better for you. All of these things. The only thing I would say about it is that don't be lazy like me. Try to do more. Try to push through yeah, find the tool that works best for you. Should we do some simple forward and back bends? Stretch up into the blue sky. And at the back, bend over. Upper back, middle back, lower back, and relax down. Let the back of the neck relax as much as you can. Tummy tuck in. Good. Softly extend toward the toes. And release. In line with the roots of our toes. And release. Toward the insteps. Release. Back toward the heels. Relax and release. Body hangs. Gently lift the tailbone up behind. Push the tailbone to the front. Start to roll the spine up. Head, arms, and ears roll up. Gently up into the blue sky and stretch. Knees and hips drift forward as you lean back. Up and gently back. Up and gently back. Up and gently back. Let's do the left hand side. So we arc the left hand down, the right hand opens up. Down on the right hand side. And the left opens. On the left. And on the right. Good. Hands up into the blue sky. So we begin again. Stretching up, tipping over arms and ears. Fold into the upper back. Roll into the middle back. Gently lower down into the lower back. Body relaxes and hangs. Extending softly toward the toes. Release. In line with the roots of our toes. Toward the insteps. Toward the heels. Body hangs and relaxes. Tailbone lifts up behind. Gently push the tailbone toward the front. Scroll the spine up. Roll gently up. Stretch up into the blue sky. Nice long stretch. Knees and hips drift forwards. You lean back. Gently up and back. Up and back. Up and back. Hands up into the blue sky. Left hand gently curls down. Open on the right. Curl down on the right. And open the left. On the left. And on the right. Good. Draw the hands up into the blue sky. So let's go through the process with straight legs if you can. So lock the knees back. Head, arms, and ears tip over. Upper back, middle back, and lower back. Gently settle and relax. Let the body hang here. Shift the weight a tiny bit forward into the toes. Just let the body relax with those straight legs. Okay, so first extension takes us gently down toward the toes. And then release, in line with the roots of our toes. And release.
toward the insteps, and release. Back toward the heels. Relax, release, body hangs, tailbone lifts up behind, tailbone pushes to the front, spine rolls up, head, arms and ears gently roll up, stretch up into the blue sky. Knees and hips drift forward as you lean back, up and gently back, up and gently back, up and back. Down on the left-hand side, curling down the left. Down on the right-hand side. On the left. And on the right. Hands up into the blue sky. So you've got one last pass through this exercise then. Stretching up nice and long. As the arms and ears tip over, legs stay straight. Gently curling down, relaxing down. Body hangs down, legs stay straight. Shift the weight gently forward to the toes. Tuck the tummy in. Have a relax. Just hang here. Great, so our first extension down. And release. In line with the roots of the toes. And release. Toward the insteps. And release. Toward the heels. Relax and release. Lift the tailbone up behind. Push the tailbone gently to the front. Roll the spine up. Head, arms and ears gently lift up. Stretch up into the blue sky. Knees and hips drift forward and you lean back. Stretching up and gently back. Up and gently back. Up and gently back. Great, up into the blue sky. Left hand curls down, right side of the body open. Right hand down, left side of the body open. Down on the left. And down on the right. Good. Gather hands up into the blue sky, nice long stretch. Release hands gently down the sides. Gently gather chi, lift chi up. Gently pour the chi down through the body. Move it down, move it deep into your belly. As the hands relax, the chi flows down the legs. We continue, gathering and pouring. Draw chi deep inside. Gathering and pouring. Draw chi deep inside. One more time. This time we just draw the chi down to the belly. Let the hands settle on the belly. Mind deep inside. So we try to experience our chi self. This is Dr. Pang's 8 phrases. Encapsulated in his 8 phrases, the entirety of the universe. So he basically says, connect with the earth, connect with the heavens, relax your body, dissolve into chi, feel your connection to everything. So that's the sort of the idea, is to bring our bodies into that space. There's more to it than that. There's this idea that we can actually experience our universality. We can actually experience ourselves as one with everything. So it's going to be quite difficult to do that if you're still in this vortex mind, as Teacher Lou would have it, if your mind is still going crazy, rushing about. So one of the lines in the 8 phrases is quieten the mind. The idea of our 20 minutes or 15 minutes of warm-up exercises is that your mind just slots very easily into doing something that's repetitive. You just get into the rhythm of the exercise set. Your mind just settles down because there's nothing to be seen here. You just gently work your way through. And by the time you've done 20 minutes of gentle exercise, your mind has actually given up fighting, and it's just in quite a neutral, still place. And so that's why everything I do starts with that little exercise set, because I find it stills, well, it certainly stills me, and it stills my classes very, very quickly. People find themselves in that quiescent state. So we want to hold that state. What happens when a thought arises? I think about thoughts. Sometimes I think about driving along the motorway. And occasionally you go underneath one of those motorway bridges, and there'll be a lone figure sort of standing on it looking down at the traffic coming past. You could imagine that as your vortex self, trying to be quiet, but there's a whole motorway of coloured cars zooming past. So the question is, as you look at the cars, do you say, oh, Mercedes, Renault, oh, that one's a VW, oh, look at that one, it's red, it's got that, look at that sports car, Lamborghini. Or just allow those cars to flow past you without attaching a name to them. So can you stand there and watch the river of humanity flow by without needing to attach to it? Can you stand on the riverbank and allow, who knows, ducks, boats, swans, swimmers, canoes, just to float by without you having to connect to them? Same with your thoughts. Can you just let them come up and go by? Every thought that comes up, oh, did I do the ironing? Pops up in your head. You have a choice to say, ah, right, good question that. I'm going to dig in there and I'm going to think about, did I do it? And then maybe I couldn't. And then, oh yeah, no, that interrupted me. And when can I do it? I can put it in my diary, I can blah, blah, and on and on. You can choose to grab the thought that's presented to you. Or alternatively, you can just gently brush it away. Think, deal with that later. Gone. Thought that pops up about money. Doesn't matter. Gone. Thought that pops up about relationship. Examine that some other time. Gone. Gently moving them away, batting them away to one side and then to the other. Imagine yourself like a tennis player. Boing, another thought gets knocked over the net. Boing, another thought gets fired into the crowd. Whatever it might be. You don't need to hang on to these thoughts. You don't need to even touch them. Sometimes those thoughts don't even belong to you. Just random things that pop up. Something you heard on the radio, something you heard on the TV. It's not even your thought. Let it go. Your ego likes to keep itself busy. likes to ask questions. What did you think of that movie last night? It's like the sort of annoying person by the water cooler who wants to chat about anything. Your ego is constantly trying to derail your silence. It doesn't like silence. It's like a small child. Mummy, mummy, let's do this. What can we do next? I'm bored. Let your ego be quiet for a while. Allow the vortex of life to stop spinning. Gently settle into this neutral place. Feel your connection to the earth. Feel your connection to the heavens. Feel your whole body dissolving into chi. You can examine the head and let it dissolve into chi. Think about the throat and the neck and the shoulders and just gently dissolve them into chi. From the shoulders down to the arms, let them dissolve in chi. Feel the whole of the spinal column from the brain all the way down to the tailbone. Allow everything to dissolve into chi. Around your ribs, whole upper torso, breasts, back, chest, back of the chest, down into the tummy, lower back, down to your hips and pelvis. Everything dissolves into chi. Think about the hip joints, think about the thighs. Dissolve them into chi. To the knees, down into the thigh calves, dissolving into chi. Slowly down to your Achilles, ankles and feet. To the tips of the toes and the soles of the feet, dissolving gently into chi. This lovely relaxation you find when you let go. And your body just becomes a chi body, floating. Dissolve it into chi. Whole thing relaxes and dissolves into chi. This abundance of energy flowing through your body. Everything is open and flowing, no blockages. The channels up and down your leg flowing well, the channels up and down your arms flowing well, the channels through your neck into your body, all the way down the body, flowing well. We feel chi can move easily in the body. We feel the body is just turning itself into chi. And then all that's left is the mind. We have to dissolve our minds. Certainly we dissolve the left logical side of the mind. Because logic doesn't really allow for this kind of thought. Logically speaking, scientifically speaking, we feel we can see our bodies, we can see each other, and it all seems so real. Logic doesn't really let you think on this basis, so we're just trying to let that logic side of the brain shut down, be quiet for a while, and let us live in the more imaginative side of our brain, the more artistic side. Just allow ourselves to see our bodies completely dissolved as part of the chi field, with energy flowing well. Imagine this vast network of chi that connects us all together. You to me to you, us to the wider Qigong diaspora all around the world. Millions upon millions of people do exactly the same thing as you every single day. No time, no space is the Qigong idea. Everything connected. So time is just very much a construct of this game we play. The game we play has to have a start and a finish. So as consciousness moves through chi, there is an appearance of time. So we just allow this understanding that time is also completely flexible. I feel that I'm here, you feel that you're there, but when we connect across the vastness of our globe, apparently there is no space. quantum physics, we always hear about this idea of entanglement. How elements can be on one side of the world and on the other side of the world simultaneously because they're constantly entangled. We are constantly entangled. Our lives are constantly entangled. You and I, deeply connected, healing each other. All of the other Sheneng players, healing each other. This vast library of health and healing that's available to you just by plugging in this way, just by feeling Dr. Pang's 8 phrases, just by understanding these gentle principles behind it, we suddenly find that we are Qi, we are connected, and we are just consciousness playing this fantastic game. So let's make this experience of consciousness a little bit more real. Let's try and find where consciousness resides in our bodies. Well, my opinion of this is that consciousness resides in every cell of our bodies, in every part of our bodies. I think the whole of our body is conscious. But of course, in a more classic way, we always tend to think about the brain as being the seat of consciousness, and the core of the brain, possibly pineal, pituitary, that kind of area, as being the key to consciousness. So we can use a tone like NuN to call this consciousness, to call our true self. So as you say NuN, just use that kind of As it was explained to me, imagine yourself sitting on a sofa reading a book, and somebody you don't realize is there, you're so absorbed, calls your name, Jeremy. You go, that kind of moment where you wake up, you make a sort of a noise, a kind of like a point of recognition when you realize that you've been called and your consciousness wakes up to that moment. And so, NuN, NuN, N-U-N, NuN, just helps you to call your deep consciousness. NuN, NuN, NuN. And it depends what speed you want to go at. So the speed of the class that we're going to listen to now just goes along. NuN, NuN, NuN. It probably goes along, I haven't tested it, but it probably goes along at 60 beats per minute. And of course, that's the sort of standard heart rate, 60 beats per minute. It's also a very good rhythm for a song. It's also very good for the beat of the entire universe, or humanity beats at the same sort of rate, as it were, pulses at the same rate round the globe. And so NuN, you find your own speed. If you find you want to go quicker, go quicker. If you find you want to go in time with the audio, that's fine. If you find that you've stopped saying NuN and that you're in a very still place, stay there. There is no obligation to say NuN. You're not required. It's not going to make any difference. If you can find that still, steady place, then do so. Stay with it. And then maybe, after a little while, you'll drift away. And then you could just come back and start saying NuN again. So the audio will keep going. I might stop, but let the audio carry you along. Anything else to say about NuN before we begin? I'm just going to take up a classic, well, I already have taken up a classic standing posture. The more observant amongst you will notice that sometimes when I stand in the standing posture, I gently do swirl hips as well, just loosening the lower back, keeping the whole body moving, gently moving my tailbone in a circle, lifting at the front, lifting at the back. I'm not encouraging you to do that, but just in case you see me doing it, you wonder, what's Jeremy doing? Is he actually moving? Sometimes, I suddenly spontaneously find that I'm doing swirl hips, My kidneys are often something that I'll work with, and so that's not necessarily useful for you, but it's certainly useful for me. And so I give myself permission to not have a completely solid standing where I don't move at all. I just think, well, if my body wants to do that, I think that's probably not a bad plan. I'm just going to let it do swell hips very quietly in the background while I stand. It doesn't distract me in any way. And otherwise, standing stance, feet shoulder width apart, knees gently bent, back nice and straight. Tailbone is softly tucked underneath, spine long and chin is gently drawn back. We lift Bai Hui. At the same time as we lift Bai Hui up, we can lift Hui Yin between our legs. So it's almost like the 2 points are connected, lifting a sort of central column of Qi up through the center line of the body. Lift Hui Yin, lift Bai Hui. Hands can just sit on the tummy, holding a little ball of Qi. They can just relax down, gunfighter stance. They can come back up and hold a ball of Qi. Whatever works for you. No worries. And of course, sitting down is a perfectly good option. Lying down and listening is a perfectly good option too. So we just keep our knees gently bent, keep the body nicely relaxed. We're just going to relax into the NuN meditation in a moment or so. NuN, 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 NuN. Just gradually allow the tone to get a little bit quieter. NuN, 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 NuN. Allow the tone to fade completely. Just saying NuN inside your head. Feel the inside of your head, the core of your brain, illuminated. Gently dissolve your mind as if opening your head out into the blue sky, out into the universe beyond. Allow the mind to gently open and dissolve, out, out, out into the universe. Feel the vastness of it all. Allow your mind to float freely in the universe. Imagine that you can discover the blueprint to your healing, the blueprint of every cell in your body, the original blueprint of your DNA. Draw this information back into your mind. From the vastness of the universe, gather this chi back into your mind. Draw back this healing blueprint of your body deep inside your mind. Allow this idea to populate your whole body, every cell in your body, filled with this new information that you have retrieved from the universe. Imagine every cell in your body filled with this healing chi, abundance of healing information throughout the whole of your body. Let this information percolate through every cell, deep inside the DNA, but also deep inside your mind. The mental stories can be changed as well. It's almost like rewinding through your past and editing out the bits that you no longer need. Let them go. Fresh, new story for your life. Starting here, without all the old baggage, without all the old problems. Allow the whole of your body to feel the truth of this, gathering the chi deep inside, allowing it to flow through every cell in your body, allowing it to percolate through every story in your life. And then we can gently start to draw our hands back to the belly if they've come off. We can allow our body just to settle and relax for a moment with the hands on the tummy, gathering all this chi deep inside. We can bring our hands up into the prayer position. We can step on chi to bring our feet together, back into the standing posture. And then let's just close out from here. Draw the hands gently up in front of the face, up over the crown of the head, up into the blue sky with a stretch. And then just opening up, little fingers, ring fingers, middle fingers, the hands split apart and gently go down to shoulder height. A little scoop of chi brings chi around to the front. Send chi inside. Imagine your brain illuminated, filled with chi. Drift the elbows back and bring the hands underneath the arms. Lightly touch, da bao. Send chi into the center of your chest. Radiate chi out into your heart and out into your lungs, spleen and pancreas, liver, kidneys. Hands go backwards. Backs of the hands move forwards. Just turn the palms over. Send a flourish of chi out into the blue sky. Bring some back for yourself. Some of this beautiful healing chi goes deep inside the belly. Excuse me. We land our hands on Du Chi. Gathering this chi deep inside, holding this amazing energy. All functions of the body returning to perfect working order. All functions of the body return to perfect working order. All functions of the body normal. All functions normal. As you stand here, just imagine your Wei Chi layer, a beautiful layer of chi around your body, protecting you. And then around that's the chi body. It's a meter in front, a meter below, meter back, front, left, right, above. It's a beautiful bubble of chi, and you in the center of it. So you have the chi body just around your skin, and then the Wei Chi layer around your skin, and the chi body protecting you and kind of connecting you. Your little bubble of chi. Inside you, a being of light, every cell in your body working. We can just close down by drawing 3 little circles anti-clockwise around the belly. So as we draw these 3 circles round, we gather chi deep inside, and we hold it there and we store it there for later use. As we take 3 circles in the opposite direction, that just reminds the body we're coming back into daily mode, bring ourselves back into the here and now. But we'll always have this chi stored deep inside. Bring the hands to a gentle stop. Let the hands down by the sides. Slowly open our eyes. Give our fingers a bit of a wiggle. Move the toes a little bit. Stretch out the body wherever it might need a little stretch. I'm going to try and do this thing which is called spotlight, which means that you don't get onto the video, it's just me. But I have to press the right button. I blow my background juice. It must be this thing here. Okay. So let us say haola together. So haola means good already. Everything is sorted. And then what happens is we put the hands up in the air. I count 1, 2, and we shout haola. We'll do it 3 times. So hands up in the air. 1, 2. Ha.
La.
La. 1, 2. Ha. La.
La.
Last time. 1, 2. Ha. La. Oh, lovely. So the right hand gently sweeps up and the left hand sits on top. Fingers draw together and thumbs fit on the end of the fist. That's the Zheneng Qigong salute. So thank you very much for being here, guys. Really nice to work with you. And looking forward to seeing you again soon. I'll put this video online shortly. Thanks. Bye, everyone.